Oh, hey guys. I didn't see you there for a second. I got a little fearful, one might say, uh, which makes perfect sense because that's today's lesson. It's titled Singing Tips 24, How to Overcome Stage Fright. So welcome. Hey guys, this is Dave Trevor here. Singers and singerettes, get ready. This is some exciting stuff because I've never taught this before, but I know a lot about it from doing it not only from a teaching standpoint, but also from a performance standpoint. I'll get into more of that in a minute. But there's a lot to cover, so let's just get started, shall we? Okay, happy Friday, here we go. What is stage fright? Now, the technical term of stage fright is defined as this. It's basically like this nervousness and hysteria as also a worrisome type of feeling or effect that one gets when they're either A, public speaking, or doing some sort of performance. That's what stage fright is. Now, for myself, I have a personal definition of stage fright, and it's this. Stage fright is basically when you kind of get butterflies in your stomach, but it's this overwhelming feeling of butterflies that you can't control, and you get nervous, and you get, sweaty palms, and you get all these sorts of like different things that pop up, and I'm going to list a bunch of those later in the lesson as to what are some of the side effects that a person can get from stage fright, okay? Okay, moving right along. Why do people get it? Well, the reason people get it is because speaking in public or singing in public or doing things in public gives people a lot of fear. It just does. You can ask anybody, and I guarantee like 8 out of 10 people will say, oh, I can't stand speaking in public, or oh, I can't stand talking in front of a group of people. So it's not an uncommon fear. So there you guys have it. Now, getting into this specific point, I wanted to bring up the fact that it is common. It's very common. Stage fright and public speaking basically go hand in hand, and if you really want to think about it, they're kind of the same thing. Because when you're doing public speaking, whether it's like a speech for a debate class or whether it's presenting something in front of a new boss or doing an interview, those are all different types of stage fright, because if you think about it, you feel like you're being put like on a pedestal. You feel like you're being put like on a stage, and that everyone is judging you and everyone is looking at you and that sort of thing. But it's not true. It's not really the case, but it's this overwhelming feeling that we have. And I was really excited to talk about this lesson because there's a lot to it. So here's some points about stage fright, okay? I went on some blogs and I found a very interesting statistic, and it's this. Public speaking is the second greatest fear that people have. The first greatest is under dying. So people's greatest fears are death and speaking in public. And I thought that was kind of amazing that speaking in public is almost as scary as death. So that kind of answers your question as to, okay, well, why do people get so afraid? Well, it's just a fear that they have. It doesn't mean that just because they have this fear, though, that they can't also confront it, be able to look at it like head on and also tackle it and destroy it. So that's what this lesson is basically devoted to. Now, what are some of the common signs of stage fright? Well, I got a bunch. I'm going to list them out here, but you've got shortness of breath. You have dry mouth. You have this feeling of feeling like caved in, like everything's coming in on you like all at once. You have this feeling of worry. Some people get to the point of where they feel hysterical about it. They get hysteria, like, they get on stage and they're like, I can't handle it. I just can't handle it. So that's I realize it might look silly, but stage fright is very real. So I want you guys to realize that stage fright is real, but that doesn't mean it has to rule your life, whether you're doing a performance, whether you're public speaking, whether you're trying to present a new idea to one of your bosses, whether you're trying to ask for a raise, whether you're singing in the shower, whether you're singing karaoke, or whether you're performing on stage. This applies to every single person out there. So I will say without a doubt that if you guys don't watch more than one lesson, watch this lesson and pass it on to many people as possible, because what I'm talking about doesn't just appeal to the singers and the non-singers. It appeals to the masses. It appeals to everybody. And it has to deal with all these things that I'm talking about. So here's some more common side effects, okay? You've got nervousness, this idea you get on stage and oh God, is everybody judging me? Everyone's judging me. Everyone is judging me. That's just another side effect. You've got fear. You've got sweaty palms and also sweaty faces and just overall sweat in general. You've got fast heart rate. You've got feeling of nausea. Okay. So before I go on and just give you like another like massive list of side effects, because that was just barely a third of what I found online, there is hope. And the hope is you can overcome stage fright. No matter what you're doing, you can overcome stage fright. I found some fabulous things that work, and they've worked for me personally. I really have a feeling they'll work for you. So let's get into it, shall we? Okay. The first one is stage fright occurs because you're not being in the moment. What I mean is you're not being there. You're not being right in the present time of whatever it is you're doing, whether you're speaking to another person, whether you're on stage giving a performance, whether you're giving a debate. All these sort of things come about, and stage fright will come about because you're too busy thinking about what you're going to say. You're too busy thinking about what you're going to sing. You're too busy thinking about what you're going to do instead of just being in the moment and doing it. Just being in the moment and doing it. Saying right then and there, this is what I'm talking about, this is what I'm doing. There you have it. It's that simple. So, okay. So that's the first one, is be in the moment. And a good way to do that is look around the environment. Look around your room. Look at the surroundings. Say, okay, there's a wall, okay, and there's another wall, and oh, there's the floor, and there's some other things. And really get adjusted to the environment around you. And after that, you're going to start to realize, wow, I'm worrying for no reason. Even if you're doing a setting, look at the audience members, look at the stage, look at the other things, look at that, look at this. This applies to everything when it comes to some sort of public speaking forum. Okay, guys? Awesome. The next one is pretend people are in their underwear. You know, you've heard this adage before, and you've heard this saying before, but it's totally true. Why? Because it allows you to relax. I don't necessarily like doing pretend people are in their underwear because it might be like a little embarrassing, or you might see some cute chick, or, you know, for girls, maybe you'll see a cute boy and be like all embarrassed. So do this. Pretend that everyone is wearing a silly hat. I know that sounds ridiculous, but pretend everybody in the audience is wearing a silly hat. Doesn't matter what hat. They can all be wearing the same hat for all I care, but it will help. Pretend everyone is wearing a silly hat. It works. Trust me. Another thing is, don't be afraid to laugh, guys. It's just stage fright. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It doesn't mean your world's going to come crashing down. It is just stage fright. It has all these weird sorts of feelings, but it is just that. It's just sorts of feelings. It doesn't mean that someone's going to come and take a pickaxe to your head, or you're going to fall and die right there on stage. But people think this. People, like I said, they think that public speaking, or speaking in a forum, or being in a thing where they feel like they're being judged, is the second greatest fear right under death. Something to keep in mind. But you know what's cool is that understand that we all get it. Everybody gets stage fright. I've gotten stage fright. I know massive performers that have gotten stage frights or stage fright, and it's there, but it can be tackled. It can be conquered. It can be defeated. And use this fear to your advantage. When you feel yourself swelling up with these sort of like stage fright type feelings, don't be afraid to like, you know, breathe deep and really go for it and be like, okay, got it. I can use this fear to my advantage. You know, it's like, it just use it as positive energy, you know, like really use it so it can like thrust you forward. And don't be afraid to laugh again, guys. Again, it's just stage fright. It's not the end of the world. You will live on. You will see the next day coming up tomorrow. It's going to happen. It does happen. It always does happen. So, okay. So yeah, the big ones again though, seriously, don't be afraid to laugh. Picture the audience in some silly hats and be in the moment. Oh, and look at the environment. Really look around at your environment, soak it all in. And an interesting thing about this is that stage fright, it goes across the board. It basically goes all the way from a performance, big or small, doesn't matter. It goes from intimate encounters with, say, your girlfriend or your boyfriend. You know, you probably hear girls say this to their boyfriends. Oh, you know, where are you? You know, you're not here. And, you know, guys to girls might say, what are you thinking about? This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is a type of stage fright. It's not called stage fright. You call it something else. You might call it like being worried and stuff like that. But if you're to look at everything that I've been talking about, it's just another type of stage fright just on a smaller scale. So that's something to think about. You know, again, this is just what I have found out, so you can say, oh, Dave, you're full of crap, you don't know what you're talking about. But before you do, just think about it. Take a look and think about what I'm saying with this particular situation, okay? Cool. So with that, it can also transfer over into the studio, because I've run into some singers on YouTube and, you know, they're like, judge my voice and this and that and the other. And a lot of the people that I've been running into sound really nervous. And it has a lot to do with being comfortable with your own voice in a studio setting. And I'm going to get into a little bonus part on that a little bit later, but just keep that in mind, okay? All right, good. So now we're going to go ahead and get into the question of the week. This is from mtreadway81077777. Whew, that's a lot of sevens. You must be a lucky fella. Anyways, he says, so as singing from the diaphragm is for the chest voice, right? Not head voice, right? I did a lesson here, and you can check it out in the Boxy Box about the diaphragm. And no, it's for all different voices. You have to think of the diaphragm like this, like, okay, like, so like an engine of the car, okay? You've got the engine of a car, and if things aren't working with different parts of the engine, we'll just say for sake that these are different parts of the engine. If, like, you don't put oil in it, it doesn't work properly. If you don't put all your fluids, it doesn't work properly. If you don't have power steering fluid in there, it doesn't work properly. So think of the diaphragm as the engine to your voice. So with it, you have to make sure that, okay, you know, with the diaphragm, okay, I'm drinking enough water, and I'm not pushing from the throat, but I'm actually using the diaphragm, and that I'm making sure that I'm taking enough breaths. Do you see what I'm saying? So the diaphragm is the engine for the voice. The diaphragm is where it all starts, guys. Again, if you guys have more interest, again, watch the lesson in the Boxy Box about the diaphragm. And yeah, it's just that simple. The engine of the voice is the diaphragm. So I hope that answers your question, mtreadway81077777, lucky 7. Okay, cool. So now I wanted to move into this next part, guys. This is really cool because I was talking earlier about stage fright and how it applies to the studio as well. So with that, I want to give a special shout out to a guy that I did a collaboration with. His name's Yakes. He's a rapper. He's probably the next big thing coming out of Colorado, in my personal opinion. We've been showing his music around to lots of different people and possibly some radio stations and this and that and the other, and they all like what they hear. I'm going to have his link right here, so go ahead and copy and paste this link right here, this one right here. Yep, it's the same one that you're looking at. And I'm also going to have a description or you can find his link, in the description box below. So go ahead, check him out. And he's really awesome. I mean, I think he's really a lot of fun to work with, and I think his lyrics are a lot different than the stuff that's out there on the radio. He's got a kind of a happier edge to it, but it's not happy music per se. But his lyrics they make you think. They make you want to listen to what he has to say because they're very interesting and they're very poetic, I guess you could say. So I really like him. His name's Yakes. The reason I'm bringing him up is listen to all of his tracks that is on his Reverb channel right here, Reverb Nation channel right here, and particularly listen to the tracks Leavin' With Me and the other track Forget It, because guess what? I did those. I was in the studio. One of the songs I'm more of a backup kind of vocalist, and the other song it's all me. For the most part, he does a verse in the middle, but I was so excited to work with him. We were going to plan on working in the studio later down the road. He's going to have a YouTube channel down later, so I'll make sure that I get that up in the future. And yeah, he's just a great guy. And this is what I'm talking about, because I was able to overcome my fear of stage fright in the studio. That's the performance we got. It's not the best performance, but it's definitely a lot better than the stuff that I've put on YouTube before in the past. So please check it out. I do apologize about my previous performance where I did a 9 Inch Nails cover. It's off. It's gone. You'll never need to hear about it again. Check it out, guys. Let me know what you think. Leave me comments about it here in the comment section below, or if you guys have any other question about stage fright, leave me one in the comment section below as well. Okay, so next lesson we're going to be talking about how to belt. We're going to talk about what it is. We're going to also talk about can guys do it, because lots of times you think that it's just females, because what I've run into is that it's more of a female type sound, but can guys do it? Well, you'll have to just tune in and see. So there you guys have it. Thanks again for watching. I know this was kind of a lengthy lesson, but there was a lot to it. It is, again, stage fright. There's a lot to it, but you can overcome it. Now you guys know the data about it. Now you guys know all the info about it. So go on and go out there and do it and conquer the world. And as always, again, leave me any sort of comments and thumbs up this video. Oh, and you guys can find me on Facebook right here. You can find me on Twitter right here. And if you guys haven't already, subscribe. You got the big yellow button up top, big yellow button at the bottom, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great weekend. Take care.